of the state of Michigan, and we're also doing some work in Indiana, which is super exciting, and just shows that we have expanded, we have grown, our team has grown, but at the same time, the reason that this growth has happened is because the needs in our communities has expanded tremendously. I think many of us, if not all of us, are aware that there truly is a housing crisis. There are people every day that call us, some people 10 or 15 times a week, right, looking for a place to live because they just don't have that in their lives. So just being mindful that amidst all the excitement, there is certainly more to do. But today we are going to celebrate the accomplishment that has happened here on the corner of Grand Traverse and University in Flint. So today we are going to be addressed by our board chair, Jason Paulatier, and he is also a VP at Fifth Third Bank. So come on up, Jason, and have your remarks.
Can I touch this?
No.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Or good afternoon. Thank you, Essence. And good afternoon, everybody. Mr. Mayor, council members, distinguished guests. My name is Jason Paulatier, board chair of Communities First, and during the day I am senior vice president and group head for community development finance at Fifth Third Bank, where I have the privilege of serving and working with organizations like Communities First. It's my pleasure and honor to be here with you today and to celebrate the ribbon cutting of the Grand on University apartments. As Essence said, the Grand is a brand new $16.7 million, you'll probably hear that a million times today, $16.7 million, because that's significant. Just think about that, $16.7 million, that's $17 million, right, on this corner. For mixed-use development in Flint's Carriagetown Historic District, supported by key financial partners, including Fifth Third Bank. This development will include 48 mixed-income apartments and all the other things that Essence said. This development is one of the largest new housing developments in the Carriagetown neighborhood in years and was achieved with the support of many key partners. This development is Communities First's sixth ribbon cutting in the city of Flint and second in the Carriagetown neighborhood in just 2 years. This would not have been possible without the support of key financial partners, the low-income housing tax credit, and our friends at MISHDA, hi Amy, neighbors, governmental officials, and more. And speaking on behalf of one of the financial partners at Fifth Third Bank, we firmly believe that strong communities and strong banks go hand in hand. The bank has been a longtime partner to the communities we call home, where our employees and our customers live, work, and play. We know that when we work collaboratively with the city and other stakeholders, that these investments improve the lives of and give our neighbors a place to call home to. Research shows that access to affordable housing is the most cost-effective strategy for reducing childhood poverty and increasing economic mobility in the United States. Fifth Third Bank is excited to be a part of this development and to play a key role in the ongoing transformation of the vital Carriagetown neighborhood here in the city of Flint. Thank you. Essence?
Thank you, Jason. Jason and our board of directors enable us to do this work every day. They say yes as much as they say no. They say maybe, I'm not sure about that. Let's go back and get the data and the statistics that support that. But we are certainly grateful that you allow us the space and the opportunity to impact communities the way that we are able to. So thank you to our board. Next up, we will hear from Kurt Neiswinder, who is the project architect with Urban Collab Architecture.
Let's see. Try not to overthink this, right?
You're an architect, you can't.
Right. Yeah. It's a good point. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, since it is now past 12. With the few minutes that I have, and I promise I will definitely not run over time, I'd like to thank a few people. But first, I want to talk about this building because that's what architects mostly like to do. So we hope you appreciate the finishes interior and exterior, but I want to talk about kind of what I call behind the scenes or behind the drywall. The parts of the building under the floor, above the ceiling, behind the walls, that you don't get to see anymore, right? But happen or that exist, during the construction process. But before we set the first piece of rebar or framed the first wall, we cleaned up the soil, a lot of soil. And if you want to talk to Dave Lurvy about that some more, I'm sure he'll gladly tell you more about it. But there's also a large underground stormwater retention system under the parking lot that will make sure that the project doesn't ever overburden the municipal stormwater system, no matter how rainy it gets outside. And again, can't see it, but it's still there. The building was designed to meet the National Green Building Standard Silver standard. And it is a higher performing standard than the general building code that we work with. So we've achieved, something that's beyond what the code asks for. So we pushed for higher standards. And in order to accomplish this, we have more insulation, carefully framed walls that are more airtight, aided by the advanced fabrication or prefabrication methods, off-site prefab. That also speeds up the construction process and minimizes material waste on site. Again, you won't see these details, but they're there. We have also pushed this project to use more efficient HVAC systems that provide the tenants with superior indoor thermal comfort and 100% fresh air ventilation. So the grant apartments represent a paradigm in affordable housing that showcase beautiful energy efficient design, but more than that, it will provide 48 new homes that support the resiliency of its residents that will live here, providing equitable housing options for decades to come. And now to thank a few folks, so I'm almost at the end here, just to make sure that you realize this building, a building like this is not created by one person alone. First, I'd like to thank the neighbors in historic Carriagetown that provided valuable feedback through numerous meetings to help shape the design of the project here. And then I'd like to thank the staff, volunteers of the Historic District Commission, Zoning Board of Appeals, Planning Commission, the Planning, Zoning, and Building Departments of the City of Flint. Many hands touched the design and construction of this project. And then next I'd like to thank the team at Lurvy Construction, Dave, Ryan, and Tim, in particular for your collaborative attitude in the delivery of this building. And last, I'd like to thank Communities First for putting the team together. It takes a great owner, architect, construction team and relationship to design great buildings. And lastly, but last but not least, thanks to our esteemed guests from the local, state, and federal government that have joined us today. So I think I beat the clock, right? Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt. And he shared some of those details that you don't often get a chance to hear about, like you said, the behind the scenes things that happen to allow this vision to come to life. And it is a careful dance with the architect, the owner, developer, and builder to make sure that we're producing a product that we can all be proud of, but also that's functional, that makes sense, and that fits into the surrounding neighborhood. And there was a tremendous amount of back and forth. And so thank you for, I won't say, you went back to the drawing board, you didn't have to start over, but there were definitely some moments where we had to scratch the idea that we had and make sure that we were doing what was right by the neighborhood, by residents, and also what would be in the best interest of tenants. So thank you for that. So to hear the other side of things, we've got Dave Lurvy. I don't know if he's going to have any comments about Kurt and about the building process, but we'll have Dave Lurvy, President and CEO of Lurvy Construction, come on up.
The architect always takes longer than the contractor. But it's very thoughtful, Kurt. I'm going to be really quick. At the groundbreaking, I didn't thank the four individuals in the back. So Tim, stand up. Kyle, stand up. Ryan, stand up. And is Diane hiding? Okay. These four were responsible from sun up to sundown of this project for over a year period. And so they see and make sure that all these dollars are syndicated properly. Diane does all the paperwork for the project managers, superintendents, and then Ryan is superintendent extraordinaire that handles a lot of your projects. So good job, guys. For us, this is so much more about bricks and mortar. You know, you see what local leadership, state leadership, national leadership, everybody buys into this, and it makes it easy on the contractor to see the buy-in whenever you deliver a building like this, and you know what's going to occur in it. So that's the reward for us. Every day in Flint, our firm plays a role in many projects of this nature, and you see what really the good that can occur whenever you can provide quality housing for folks that are trying to break down barriers. So for us, you know, we're humbled by the experience. We love to deliver on behalf of everybody that's on the team. And then whenever you work for ownership such as Communities First, you really see that it's not an easy task for them. It's exhaustive hours. It's idea after idea trying to make numbers work. I see Amy shaking her head because I know she carries those purse strings pretty tight. So at the end of the day, though, I have to believe it's very gratifying for you to see how those dollars are syndicated. So we're just happy to be involved and appreciate being a part of the team.
Thank you, Dave. Next up, we're going to hear from Mike Wright. He's our VP of Real Estate Development at Communities First, and certainly on this development, had the opportunity to really take the lead and make some calls and some decisions, and then after the fact, we're like, wait, we're doing what? That's exactly what we would have done if it was up to us, right? So it has been, great having Mike on the team and seeing him, really, I won't say learn, grow, and develop because he came to us ready for this work, right? But to see him step up and step in as that VP so that we can, continue to do the other things that we need to do to keep the organization running and to pursue additional development opportunities. So, Mike, gratitude and thanks. Come on up and share your remarks about this particular development.
Thank you very much, Essence. Thank you very much, Essence. And I have learned and I have grown. I've developed a lot since I've got to Communities First. I had experience before, but I've gotten to do challenging things that I've never had to do on any other job. I get to do not just real estate development, but I get to do programming, and I have other opportunities. So I'm extremely thankful for that and for working for this team. I look back, my first pro forma on this project was saved on my computer in May of 2018. The price, the total development cost, I think was $17 million. Back then it was 13, so somehow we added $4 million to the project in those 5 years, which is actually not too bad considering. Yeah, the architect takes longer than the contractor. The contractor's more expensive than the developer. All right? That's kind of how it goes, always. 5 years, there's a lot that I'd want to say, and there's a lot of stories that I could tell, and I'd be happy to sit down and talk about this stuff because it's great. But just a couple quick things. I remember being in like city council meetings and planning commission meetings, public meetings, having a picture in my head of this, even this time of me talking, and want to be like, this is what we're going to do, people. Let's get on board. And Glenn and our team, council, all city staff, funders, the board, all came together with that vision in mind that many years ago and made it happen. And it was, how do we translate that vision to everyone to get the approvals that we need, and how do we make that a reality? It's always a very big challenge. And I think, I'm very grateful for this day. Flint, Genesee County, I think is very lucky. I'm very lucky to have Communities First, a highly capable, dynamic team that cares, that's right down the road, that invest back in the community. That's not every day. To have a Lurvy construction company that's so good and so good to work with, to have the architects it's tremendous the amount of resources that Flint, Genesee County area has. And then have investors like Sinair that's very easy to work with, easy to do the draws, that checks and does their due diligence on us but wants to work with us. Have a bridge lender like Fifth Third to bring in those funds to the project. To have Elga Credit Union, a local credit union, invest in this project, and to also bring in Federal Home Loan Bank dollars, so more funds to this project. So there is a lot of behind the scenes, a lot of investment behind that $17 million behind the capabilities of the construction team, of the architect to design this, of the neighborhood residents that we go to meetings and they ask pointed questions and hold us accountable and say, no, I want this design, I don't like that over there, and they are very knowledgeable. So all of that is, to me, it's an amazing amount of resources. I'm very lucky, I'm very proud of this day, and so thank you for being here and appreciate all of your effort.
Thank you, Mike, for those remarks. And, you know, I think, Jason, you said it, you know, we're going to hear that number several times today. But keep in mind, you know, Mike spoke to it about the increased construction costs and all of that. It takes a lot of resources in order to produce housing. And so that's part of the reason why there's such a great need. Next, we are going to have remarks by State Representative Cynthia Neely. Come on up.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am so happy to be here today. I'm excited that this new housing opportunity is happening right here in the 70 district, right here where the university is down the street. This is an exciting day for the city of Flint. I just want to congratulate Community First, Glenn and Essence, for your great leadership. In the state of Michigan, we always talk about housing shortage. So to see that you're still moving forward, especially here in the city of Flint, answering those questions for our residents, where they're going to lay their head. This is a great opportunity, and I just want to thank you and congratulate you on just continuing to move in Flint forward. Glenn is very tenacious what he does. He continues to call me, and he's like, Rep. Neely, what can we do to make things better for the city of Flint? He always has some shelves, a whole bunch of shelf ideas up there, and he was like, anytime you need something, Rep. Neely, believe me, I got it, call me, I can make it happen. So Glenn, congratulations again, and Community First.
We can all agree, anybody that knows him, Glenn is a man with many ideas, and I'm glad to be a part of a team that helps bring those to fruition. We were talking earlier, and I think this is our 6th grand opening, which I think is amazing in the city of Flint. That's pretty cool. And Rep. Neely, I'm going to assume that you wore green in honor of this great day and community service, but if not, that's okay too. Next, we will hear from Michigan State Senator John Cherry.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am very excited to be here, finally, I will say, because most days I've been driving by this site, taking my daughter to school, and so I've been able to watch the construction as it slowly come to completion, and glad we're going to be cutting the ribbon. I want to say thank you to all of the partners who worked together on making this project happen, whether that's the City of Flint or MISHDA, Lurvy, the contractor, our architects, the lenders, greatly the workers who did all of this work. Thank you for all that, and most importantly, Communities First. Glenn, Essence, Joel, your whole team for all the work that you did on this project and so many others. I mean, we know that affordable housing is a challenge in this state and in this community. I believe Joel has told me it's 7,000 units we're short in Genesee County we need to work on, and you guys are making a huge impact on helping us bite off of that apple. You know, Michigan has traditionally, we have not invested in affordable housing the way that we should. We have now, with the new budget, put, for the first time, very significant resources into affordable housing, so hoping that's going to start. It's not enough what we did. We know we got a lot to make up for, but I want to step back and, talk for a moment about Communities First. It's what's the tagline here? Empowering people, building communities. One of the exciting parts about this project for me, with all the work that you do, helping the folks who live in your facilities, you really are changing lives. So it's not just the building, it's all the work that goes in after people move in. And so when we're talking about 43 affordable units here, I mean, that's 43 families' lives who are being changed. So let's take a moment and reflect and be thankful for the work that's being done by Communities First and everybody in this room to transform the lives of those families. Thank you very much. In the work that you're doing here, that all the partners are doing here, really Communities First has been a trailblazer in Genesee County. And part of the thing about trailblazing is it means you created a trail. And so hopefully the work that we and the models that we're seeing developed here are going to lead to other folks who are able to go forward and help on working through those 7,000 units over the next few years. So thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you for your remarks, and I think it's just important to know that I mentioned earlier that we get a lot of calls. Some of those calls are simple. Hey, I'm living here and I would like to move. I want, to live somewhere the landlord isn't taking care of the property and it's not up to code. But there are a number of calls that we get that are absolutely heartbreaking, and not heartbreaking in a way for, sympathy or pity. We've had families who are working, who are living in motels and hotels, and just can't seem to get ahead, paying $100 a night. So think about that, and scraping and trying to get by because there is just not enough housing stock and there's just not enough opportunity for them. And I think about some of our supportive services team, and one of our family mobility coordinators is here, and how, we're providing them with like Thanksgiving dinner, making sure that they get somewhere where they can have Christmas presents for their families. And so, even in this season, as we're thinking about coming up, on additional holidays and Christmas, I just think it's important to note that this work is not, for a day like this and the glitz and the glamour and, hey, we're opening a new building, let's cut a ribbon. That part is nice. We need to do that. We need to acknowledge our accomplishments. But the real work started 5 years ago, as Mike said, as we came up to this day to make sure that families in our community had safe, quality, affordable housing. So I just want to, get you thinking about that and the need and the privilege that we all have, having a place to live and to lay our heads at night. Everyone does not have that, and the work needs to continue. So next up, Jerry Winfrey Carter, who could not be with us today. She is the council person for the 5th Ward, where we are currently located. Just want to acknowledge her and her leadership and being very supportive of this project, this development. I remember coming out here with her and walking the land before there was anything here, and she goes, I don't know how that's all going to fit. And it fit, and it's good, and we are glad. And so we look forward to an opportunity to, I don't think she's had a tour yet, but to give her a tour and to show her how everything fit. And we're grateful to her for her support. Next up, we are going to hear from the mayor of the city of Flint, Sheldon Neely.
Good afternoon. As God continues to smile on us all, and today, Community First, thank you once again. This has become a regular event with Communities First inside the city of Flint, so I commend the group here and the level of partnership. We embrace partnership. We celebrate partnership. But let me take a step back, because before this became this 5th Ward, this was the 6th Ward. Stepping back to when I was a 6th Ward city council person, and this street before University was named 3rd Avenue. And then with my partners, Congressman Kildee, which was Treasurer Kildee, Amy Hovey, that worked in those areas, we talked about the vision for this area and this corridor, to how to make Flint a destination location for families to live, work, and raise a family. We had a lot of different type of traffic here on 3rd Avenue, but we worked to anchor both universities, Kettering and University of Michigan Flint, to rename it University Avenue. With the vision, it was a party store, liquor store across the street before Jimmy John's and Little Caesars. But there was a vision, and the visionaries was Community First. They said we can take this little bit of small space and work it through. Partnerships that included local contractors, Lurvy, who's done a fantastic, give them a round of applause. But making Flint a destination location, we have to have visionaries and we have to have resources. And only together we can make this happen. So I want to thank all of those who have taken a part Glenn, Essence, you guys have been that. My state representative says you have a shelf of things. You put a lot of phone calls in. I'm glad that you have a lot of anytime minutes, right? but definitely, this is a benefit. And so as we move forward, continue to dream, continue to have vision, continue to use our partnerships to move this community forward, to make it the destination location in which I see it. So thank you all. God bless.
Thank you, Mayor Neely. The city of Flint certainly has a lot of attributes and a lot of things that are happening. A lot of really, really, really good people doing really great things. And I thank you for speaking to partnerships, because that's the only way that we're able to make any of this happen, is to have good partners. So now we're going to hear from one of those partners. We have Amy Hovey with us, who's the Executive Director of the Michigan State Housing Development Authority.
A little bit shorter than Jason Pelletier, so I had to bring this down. Thanks so much for having me here. Always happy to be at groundbreakings and ribbon cuttings. Especially happy to be back in Flint. I love the city. I remember when the Stop and Rob was right there. That's what we call it. And I remember when it was 3rd Avenue, and it's certainly come a long way. And I think you defined it well, Mayor, in essence, when you talk about partnership. It takes everyone coming together to get projects like this completed. You know, you started this project, your first pro forma was pre-pandemic. And during the pandemic, you know, we saw construction costs go up for all of our contractors, not just Laird, about 25 and 30%. You're welcome, Dave. And it made it more difficult to get jobs like this done. It took a lot longer to get jobs like this done. You know, MSHDA was happy to come back to the table to help, give some additional credits, and give some additional gap financing. In fact, we're proud to say that we've contributed just over 80% of the funding, but we didn't do it alone. We did it in partnership. We couldn't have done it without the federal government, and thank you, Congressman Kildee, for fighting hard for the low-income housing tax credit and signing on to the current bill to increase the amount of low-income housing tax credits. So thank you. And we would not have been able to give the gap funding for this project if it wasn't for Representative Neely and Senator Cherry, who allocated $150 million to MSHDA to help projects like this happen. So thank you to both of you in the state legislature. We have a long way to go. This is a beautiful project. I love it because it's a part of the built environment already. Another piece of the puzzle of redeveloping this part of the city of Flint, helping to expand all the wonderful things that are happening in downtown Flint, connecting to things that are happening over towards Kettering, as well as towards U of M Flint. We are still in the midst of a housing crisis. This is great. I love that it's mixed income. It makes me very happy. Please continue to do what you do. I'm going to say this, why I have the congressman and the state representative and senator here. We need more, and I was so happy to hear you. We're hoping to have a new program come through the state legislature in the beginning of next year to provide additional financing for housing, so you guys will be hearing from me. And Essence and Glenn, why Indiana? We got a lot more work to do here in Michigan. Please keep this as a priority. Thanks for all you do.
That was fair, yeah, you know. Michigan will always be a priority, and more specifically Genesee County and Flint, highest priority. And we can talk about the Indiana thing another time. And we have, you know, no intention of stopping this work. There are some folks that believe that you call MSHDA up, and we've called MSHDA and, you know, had our conversations, but they believe you call MSHDA up and you say, hey, there's this thing that I want to do. It's a really great idea. And then you turn around and you walk out with a giant bag of money that has $17 million in it. That's not how it goes. It is an extremely, extremely competitive process to get the funding that we do for developments like this. And Mike spoke to the performers. I don't think it was this development, but I know for Coolidge, he had over 100 copies of the performa, where it's just like tweaking things. Construction prices change. We change our finishes to try and get us to a place where things work. And then when we submit the applications, we can submit digitally now. Thank you very much for joining the 21st century. And we appreciate that. But we used to have to drive copies of these applications to Lansing. And I mean, we're talking, 800 pages, easy, to have all of the documents. And then there was a time when they let us put some stuff on CD, so that cut it down to like 500 pages. But you're still talking about massive amounts of information and details and work that leads up to this. And it's not a week, it's not a month. It takes 6 months to a year to prepare just to submit an application and then go into the waiting game and wonder what's going to happen. Then they send out the scores that are self-scores. So you always kind of like, you guys remember like middle school when you like score your own paper, so you never know if that's legit. But you get these scores and you kind of wonder, okay, will we get funded or not? And there's a lot of like ambiguity until the day that you get that call. And sometimes the call is, when they hesitate and they go, hi, this is such and such, and I'm calling from ISTA. Okay, well, it might not be a good call. But then there's the other call where it's somebody and they're like, hi, and the voice is, the intonation is a little different. So we got to work on a standard speech. So it keeps us at a cliffhanger all the way until the end of it. But anyway, you get the call and we're, get the award and we're able to do this work. So thank you, Mishta, for all that you do for the advocacy, for the statewide housing plan, and for all of that because, it all certainly matters. So speaking of that bag of money, we've got coming up next Congressman Dan Kildee. And I think back to, it was 2011 when we did our very first development, Oak Street Senior Apartments. And I remember sitting in a room when we had a gap for that development. And everybody's looking around at everybody because who are these two young people when we were young trying to do some housing stuff. And then they want to turn a school into housing that hasn't been done a ton. And I just remember, this is before Congressman, right? Looking around the room like everybody else going, I don't know what they're going to do. We got to figure this out. I don't know what's going to happen. And I wonder what you were actually thinking of us. And you don't have to tell us today. We can have that conversation. Oh. But I've always wondered because we've, continued a rapport and relationship and you've continued to be a part of the housing work. And here we are still, what's that, almost 13 years later, doing this. So I am kind of wondering what you were thinking that day when we sat there and everybody's like, I don't know what I don't know. But come on up and have your remarks, please.
Well, first of all, to Glenn and Essence, thanks for inviting me to be a part of this. I'll start off by answering your question. What were we all thinking? I was thinking about you, the same thing that folks were thinking about us, and I'm pointing at Amy Hovey, when we started our initiative over 20 years ago to begin the process of rebuilding here. And what did I think? Just like the beginning of every good idea, every worthwhile idea starts with most of the people around you thinking you have lost your mind. Because everything that's hard to do, which makes it the worthwhile thing to do, starts with believing in something that others can't comprehend. And this is what Communities First has done. I'd like to think this is some of the work that we have done together, and I'm pointing to Amy because some of you may know that we worked together for a little while, 20 years or so, on the real estate challenges here, on doing really difficult projects, on doing projects that nobody thought could happen, until we decided to assemble the partnership that was required to have the tools to get it done. But as I said, it takes more than just the financing. It takes more than just the capacity to build a facility. It takes more than just the technical requirements, although you cannot do it without a great team capable of that work. It takes faith. It takes belief that you can actually accomplish something that others can't imagine. And the fact that Communities First represents that faith and that belief is really an important statement. Everyone is here because we believe in what you do, and we want to be a part of what you do, because what you're doing is so much bigger than just an organization. This is about creating community, creating a place for people to be and to live their lives and be the best versions of themselves. This is no small thing. And so I just want to say thank you and to congratulate all of you for this. And though some of you may have heard, my role may change. I've never changed jobs in my life. I'm going to get a new business card pretty soon. But I still want to do whatever I can to encourage this incredible work that you do. I know at the federal government we do need to do more. We need to strengthen the low-income housing tax credit. We need to capitalize a really robust housing trust fund that can be available to states, and particularly like as we have with Amy Hovey, a really thoughtful leader of MISHDA. We've got to do more. We have to have more tools, but it starts with that belief in ourselves. And look, this community's been through a lot of hard times. And if we can do this here, if you can do this on this block, I know this corner, Mayor, like you do. I know this corner. I know this area. If we can do it on this block, we can do it in this neighborhood. If we can do it in this neighborhood, we can do it in this city. There's nothing that prevents us from taking this moment and using it as a step toward transforming our community to the place that we all deserve it to be. And you know what, Glenn? I'm going to finish with this, because you're up next. What is the question I always ask you? What's next? Because let's make sure we're continuing to put that question to Communities First and to ourselves. Let's celebrate today, and then let's get on with what's next. Thank you very much.
And we thank you. We're also wondering what's next for you, but a conversation for another day. Thank you for your service as a congressman. Certainly appreciate it. And you know, we will be wondering, and we'll find out soon, I'm sure. Thank you for also I would say we were just inducted into the Club of Crazy Thinkers, so we appreciate that. We'll get a certificate or something and hold a ceremony. But thank you for the
I don't call it a certificate, but I know what you're talking about.
And thank you for the foundation that you laid, you know, in the work that you have done that allowed us to do what we're doing now. I think it's a great reminder that it truly is an effort of many. You know, granted, you know, Glenn and I stand here as leaders of Communities First, but we have already acknowledged many other partners, individuals that have played roles. But, you know, there's a legacy that preceded us, and there will be a legacy that comes after us. And the thing that I'll say about that is we now have a 5-year-old daughter, and every time we drive by this building in every stage of construction, she was super excited about it. And she says, look at that building that we built, right? And I remember one day we were going through and doing our punch list, and she said, you know, can I come with you? And so we brought her in, and she had on a hard hat, and she walked through the building, and she was picking out little defects in the drywall and stuff that Lurvy needed to fix and take care of. Yeah. But it speaks to the legacy that's being created, and we will see that happen with the families that are here, the memories that they will be able to create, the impact that we're having on the neighborhood, the changes that that Mayor Neely spoke about in the corridor. It is all part of a legacy that is greater than us. So now at this time, we're going to have the President and CEO of Communities First come up, Glenn Wilson, who is a visionary and who, you know, is a champion for housing, a champion for people, and has led us to this place today. So Glenn, come on up.
Thank you, Essence. Thank you. See, when I touch it, then I mess it up. Make sure. Essence, thank you so much you always do such a wonderful job emceeing all these. Can you ever give her a hand clap? You've always done such a wonderful job.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, all the things that were said here today have just been very heartwarming, and we all know that it has definitely been a journey getting here today with this particular project overall. And I guess I want to first just acknowledge all the local elected officials, supporters, guests. I would also like to acknowledge our board of directors. If you're here, can you raise your hand? A couple of our board of directors are here. Thank you so much for coming. Also, acknowledge Mike, our VP of Development. Thank you for the work that you put in on this one. Essence, for listening to all my complaints and saying, yeah, you shouldn't say that out loud. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you said it. That's all that mattered, right? Joel, for literally, when he moved back to Philadelphia, I said, hey, Joel, I got this project. I don't have a lot of time, so you're kind of going to jump. He's like, Glenn, what is everything that's going on here? I'm like, you figure it out when you get here. So thank you, Joel, for your tireless work and overtime for community meetings the day you started, literally. Dave, Tim, Ryan from Lurby Construction, thank you so much for the work that you've done to help us get here. Kurt and Jeff, the architects, for dealing with the particulars, my particulars, and I know it probably gets on everyone's nerve, and I know you probably all dislike my memory bank. But we are finally here 5 years working on this project. And I just want to say a couple special shout outs. I appreciate Derek Dorman from the Carriagetown Neighborhood Association, or from the Carriagetown Neighborhood, sometimes K's Strong Opinions. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. We're good. Fred Jones, and many others that we have met with over and over again in the community and in the Carriagetown. Yes, please come on. That met with us several times about designs. This was a project where friends became enemies, but it was also a place where people that were once enemies turned into allies. I appreciate all those that never swayed and remained committed to supporting the work of providing high quality, affordable housing here in our community. I am glad I didn't get into this work for friends, but we got in this work to create opportunity for people and for individuals that's being caught in the middle. Also, for me, is doing the work of Christ rather than talking about it, actually doing it. This development is about equity for those that are at the bottom and for those that are stuck in the middle. This here, we have a place for CNA if they work at a local hospital. We have a place for somebody at Jimmy John's if they work across the street. But we also have a place for formerly homeless. And the reason why I say formerly homeless, because I want you to think about this, is that there were people that are going to no longer be homeless that used to sleep on this land. Now they'll be busy sleeping in their own new place. For this particular project, a song came to mind about this development, and it really speaks to my sentiment, and it was kind of interesting as I thought about this particular development and why we work so hard. And you're gonna know the song once I say it, but it's by Sam Cooke, about a change is gonna come. So I'm gonna just kind of read some of these lyrics, but this project I think represents it. But it says, I was born by the river in a little tent. Sing it. I mean, you come sing it with, we can do it together. We can do a duet. Yeah, she said I couldn't sing it. I asked. And just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming. A change is gonna come. Oh yes, it will. It's been too hard a living, but I'm afraid to die because I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's a long, long time coming, but I know a change is gonna come. Oh yes, it will. I go to the movie and I go downtown and somebody keeps telling me, don't hang around. And it made me think about this development as well, about, the proximity, and some people didn't want to hear, and, don't hang around here. We don't want these individuals in our community, in our neighborhood. But it says, but it's been a long time coming, but I know a change is gonna come. Oh yes, it will. Then I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me. Because I ain't going to hold you up. I had to go to a lot of people saying, brother, will you help me? I need your help. I need your help. You know, pick up the phone, call. It turned into, please help. What's going on? What's happening? It got lonely at different times, but we knew what we were doing this for. But the winds, it says, but the winds up knocking me. And I say, brother, help me, please. And he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. So when you ask somebody and knock me down on your knees, there has been times that I thought I could last for long, but now I think I'm able to carry on. It has been a long, long time coming, but I know a change is going to come. Oh, yes, it will. And I'm just adding this part, that a change has come to this place. It's not going to come, it's here, right? And we have to continue that work that we do. But we must put our heads down and continue the work. I'm from Flint, proud to be born 1 block away from here at Hurley Hospital, and I believe in this place. Let's celebrate today, as Dan talked about, but let's get to work tomorrow to continue to build much quality, affordable housing for people in our community. So thank you so much to all of our funders. Once again, Elga Credit Union, Senair, Federal Home Loan Bank of Indianapolis, Fifth Third Bank, Michigan State Housing Development Authority. We couldn't do all this stuff without you. I know, Terry, can you raise your hand from Elga? Usually a lot of credit unions don't get involved in developments like this, but Terry was willing with their team to work on investing with Fifth Third to do something creative that's a little outside the box, but we wanted to try to find ways that we could work with local banks in our community. So thanks so much for the work. Thank you for all that you do in our community. We're looking forward to cutting this ribbon. Essence, you see she's walking over because she know I can keep going. So that's my, I'm gonna have to just bring a Sandman thing. There we go. All right, thank you so much, everyone.
We certainly appreciate everybody staying on time. We accomplished a lot in 58 minutes, so thank you very much for that. Anytime somebody looks at our agenda and they see all the names, they're like, oh God, we're gonna be here for 6 hours, but we're able to be efficient. Thank you. All right, so anybody that knows me knows that when we do a groundbreaking or a grand opening, there's always something corny that goes along with it. Stop laughing at me. So today, as a special takeaway, we have 100 grand bars, because we're at the Grand on University. A little cheesy, but it's what I do. It's one of my assets, I think, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe it's a liability. But anyhow, we want to thank everybody for coming today. We certainly appreciate your presence. We are going to prepare to cut the ribbon. We're going to do it out here on the sidewalk. All of our speakers, if you could line up, we'll get that set up. So if we could have our team get the ribbon, we'll get that set up. We've got scissors. Following that, we will have tours. So if you would like to see a unit, stick around. We will make that happen, and you'll get a chance to see what it looks like inside of one of the apartments. We also did bring lunch. Okay, so in the back of the room, there is lunch. Feel free to take it. We don't want to take any home with us. And as a final comment, if you need a restroom, it's going to be out this way towards the parking lot. You'll see it to the right. You'll have to go through through at least one door to get there, but somebody will direct you. All right, so if we could have all of our speakers out here, and anyone who would like to take a picture and view the ribbon cutting, please meet us outside that door.
So if people want to watch, come up down on this side if you want to watch, because we're going to have it on the angle. Yeah.
So yeah, why don't we?
Push it back this way.
I'm not sure. Well, I need you guys behind the tape. Can everybody get behind the tape or no?
We don't know how many more you're going to have.
Like right here is better.
No, come on up. Step back a little bit. We can all touch it.
Is that going to be work?
We need more people over here.
Sure.
Nobody hide? I want to make sure they tell us when to go. You know, I've actually cut this early before. We had to tape it back together.
Just a little bit at the end there. There you go. Perfect. All right, go for it.
Are we okay?
Okay. I'm just waiting till we.
Are you good?
Well, he's just trying to get his what do you call it, lighting
The
set
official
up.
photographer. Are you good?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, second. Dan. All right. Yeah. All right. Where did Amy go?
I'm right here.
Oh, okay. All right. 1, 2, 3. Those are actually really
We'll go back in for tours. Please feel free to have photos.
Yeah. And then we, that's
Well,